You're this perp back with another video, and I just got done watching Orphan First Kill, and I'm really glad that I decided the other day to watch the first Orphan, because I haven't seen that since '09, since it came out in theaters. I wanted to see if it still held up, and I have some questions about just Orphan, because Orphan is a really interesting kind of series. With now them having two movies, this is pretty much like a prequel. This is set like 2 years before the events of the first movie. We kind of get more of Esther's backstory, and there's some interesting twists that I will not reveal in this video because I know it's not out yet. I was able to go see this in theaters, but I'm just gonna give you my first initial thoughts and just give you my thoughts overall about the movie. Is it better than the first one? Let's just talk about it. So, like I said, this is the origin story of Esther, or should I say, Lena, where she, the movie opens up with them at this like psych ward, and this one chick is getting a new art job of being like the art teacher for just everybody that's in this institution. And man, what a first day. That is a crazy first day, and there's already somebody that's escaped, and that ends up being Lena's character. Lena is, as we know it, Esther. She's like this 30-year-old woman that kind of has this like thing about her that she can't grow. She looks like a child, and there are people that are like that in real life, but I like the twist that they kind of used with that in Orphan, especially in the first one. But in here, it's very unique. The twist, man, I really wish I could talk about the twist, because I feel like that's what makes this very different from the first movie, but also ties into the first movie really well, in my opinion. So what ends up happening is we get this little brief scene of her escaping the institution and whatnot, and I really like this. It really shows as Esther, or the person that becomes Esther, what she's really capable of. This really had like slasher vibes to it. I was getting more slasher vibes from this compared to the first film, because one thing that I noticed from the first film, it felt a lot like The Good Son, and they definitely doubled down with that in this film as well. If you can get the little Easter eggs, if you haven't seen The Good Son, definitely go check that out. I recommend it, because there's definitely some similarities to just Lena's character, or Esther's character, compared to Henry. But anyways, she's able to escape, and she first, let me back up real quick, because this is all set in like Russia at the moment, and then it kind of shows you how she gets over to America by pretty much impersonating somebody that has been missing. That hence where she gets the name Esther. So she pretty much takes over this child's life. And man, is Esther, or Lena, in for, she doesn't know what she's in for, and I did not expect this kind of twist to come, where there's some, let's just say, something odd with this family, and Esther's gonna have to figure out how she's gonna get out of this whole entire situation, because she is really much on the move, but she definitely gets way too comfortable. But like I said, I really like the kills. I need to watch this movie again, because the theater that I went to, it's the theater that I normally don't like to go to, because their screens are trash, and there was like this weird blue tip over this screen. It was just really bad. I need to watch this again. Now, is this better than the first one? For me, I think there's a lot to enjoy more out of this, because I wasn't expecting much going into this, and I'm really surprised. I will say though, I think it's a bit too long of a wait for the sequel. They should have came out with this probably like 3-4 years after the sequel, I think it would have hit more. You know what I'm saying? I think Orphan was a movie that kind of went under people's radar and over time became like a cult classic, if you could call it that, if people are considering that. Because my theater was not packed, but there were people there, and they were very reactionary, and it was really dope, and it made the experience really an interesting watch overall. Like I said, I like that we get to kind of see the flaws of Esther, or Lena, whatever you want to call her, and how she's able to manipulate, and how she's just really creepy, man. Just the way she could just stare into your soul is just really eerie, man. And just the fact that she could just blend in like that, just because people just mistake her for being a child, and she uses that to her advantage, and it's really interesting, man. And I'm wondering if they're going to do a third movie. I don't see that being the case, considering, you know what I'm saying, Esther died in the first one. They could say something like she survived or something like it's very unlikely, but I would like to see like a trilogy being made out of this or something like that. Either way, I'm cool with it just being 2 films, because like I said, I think this ties really well with the first one. These 2 films have their similarities, but they have their differences. They don't try to repeat the same formula as the first one. This one actually is a interesting prequel. But if you have seen this, or if you plan on seeing this, let me know your thoughts on Orphan as a whole. How do y'all feel about Esther as a whole? Do you think that she is considered like a modern day like horror icon? I would say so. I would put her up there. I think her kills are brutal enough, and that's what I really like about this. We get to kind of see her more in action. You know what I'm saying? She has to deal with a lot more in this film compared to the first one. I think there's things to like about each one of them, both of them. So, you know, that's just my little quick take about this movie. Yeah, I would definitely recommend checking this out. If you have Paramount Plus, this is definitely going to be streaming on Paramount Plus. If it's playing at a local theater by you, definitely go check it out in the theaters if you can. Definitely support this. I would recommend checking this out. But till next time, I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.